In June of 2013, Bill de Blasio spoke at our last officers and delegates swearing-in ceremony. 1199 members were a leading force in his election. And today, Mayor de Blasio has kept his promise of making New York work for working people. Pre-K for every child, paid sick days for every worker, a $15 minimum wage for city employees, decreased use of stop-and-frisk police tactics, and the strongest affordable housing law in the nation. We also supported our champion governor, Andrew Cuomo, for re-election. The governor appointed 1199 President George Gresham to be the chair of the Mario Cuomo Campaign for Economic Justice. And together, we led the fight for the $15 minimum wage.
We're going to make our voices heard as union members, voters, to push for higher wages and better jobs.
It was a sign of Governor Cuomo's passion and determination that he named the campaign after his late father. We struggled side by side for over 2 years, traveling throughout the state. And together, we won the fight for 15, the first statewide $15 minimum wage in the nation. 3 million working New Yorkers will be lifted up by this law, including 70,000 home care workers of 1199 and 30,000 other members throughout the state. We also supported Governor Cuomo's priority legislation of 12 weeks of paid family leave, the strongest in the country. Now, we must use the $15 victory to organize thousands of low-wage healthcare workers in New York so we can defend the law and build our union. As Governor Cuomo said many times during the campaign, we are all connected to each other, and poverty wages undermine our democracy and the economy for everyone. We will continue the fight for 15 throughout all our regions and the entire nation. Since our last delegate swearing in, we've won big contract victories. We fought hard for our contract with the League of Voluntary Hospitals and Homes, which affects over 110,000 members. Our health benefits and the future of our jobs were on the line. We organized, mobilized, and took a 95% strike vote. And in July of 2014, we won. Our contract included full protection of benefits, a 13% raise, and the right to organize outpatient clinics. We've had many other victories throughout New York City and our regions. 18,000 Greater New York nursing home caregivers won a strong contract. Recently, workers won a contract at Sprainbrook Nursing Home in Westchester after a 10-year-long battle. Healthcare workers at the University of Rochester won a contract with $15. New Jersey members have won huge state budget victories, including $84 million in increased Medicaid funding for nursing homes. After massive rallies and strikes, workers at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore won a contract with $15. 35,000 Massachusetts home care workers won $15. And most recently, after a successful one-day strike, caregivers won a contract at 19 Consulate nursing homes in Florida.
If we go to the table and they deny us the $15 an hour, which is what we would consider a decent living wage here, then we're going to strike all 19 facilities come April the 14th.
In addition to winning higher job standards, we've continued to educate caregivers and the community about important health issues. In 2014, we partnered with the Greater New York Hospital Association through our Healthcare Education Project to hold an Ebola education session. Over 5,000 nurses and caregivers attended, and the session was broadcast throughout all our union offices. 1199 also carried on our tradition of raising funds for charities and those most in need with our 2015 ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. And we broke the U.S. record. Now, scientists are saying that important breakthroughs have been made in treating ALS and finding a cure, thanks to increased funding. At our 1199 holiday celebration, we collected hundreds of toys and distributed them to the children of low-wage home care workers in Baltimore. We also raised tens of thousands of dollars for victims of Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines, helping them recover with the construction of medical clinics, schools, farms, and fisheries. Social justice is in 1199's DNA. We know that for the labor movement to grow, we must support our sisters and brothers in community coalitions. In 2014, thousands of members participated in the largest climate march in world history. We called for green jobs, clean air, renewable energy, and a solution to climate change. We also helped lead protests against the killings of unarmed people of color and walked from New York to Washington, D.C. in our March to Justice. We participated in the 50th anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery March, which helped win the Voting Rights Act. Since 3 years ago, our union has continued to grow. Over 3,000 workers have voted to join 1199 in New York City, including in the rapidly expanding industries of home care and outpatient clinics. And a total of almost 8,500 healthcare workers have united in 1199 throughout our regions. Now we need to bring the power and moral conviction of 1199 to defeat the forces of bigotry, division, and inequality, and make our voices heard in the presidential election for our 1199 action platform. Good jobs and economic justice, quality healthcare for all, rights and democracy, and a healthy planet. Together, the delegates, officers, and members of 1199 SEIU will continue to lead and win the fight for working people and social justice.